to watch something entertaining, which game one definitely delivered in a very, very breakneck pace.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining at all. Although, I'm going to turn it around on you. You've been asking me if I'm the coach of CDEC, what do I do? Now,
All
you
right.
saw the 5 heroes that VGJ picked last game. It was Sand King, Witch Doctor, Ember, Dazzle, and Luna. VGJ or CDEC has opted to ban out the Bat Rider and the Sand King. Now, who are you afraid of if you're CDEC?
Underlord.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, look at that. We got an Underlord pickup. How about that? No, it's hard to say because, yeah, obviously, they all played so great across the board. I mean, obviously, I was going to say the Sand King, but sure enough, banned out there as we see from ROTK. But, I mean, you're not really banning out a Luna in your first couple of bans, so it's tough. I mean, CDEC, I think the biggest thing with games like that, though, obviously they got to this point. They're a very quality team. Not that first game was a fluke, but play your game. Don't get caught up in that moment of, they just dominated us. What do we do now? Let's freak out and try to change up everything. Don't do that. I mean, play your own game, switch things up a little bit, but don't draft too outside of the box, I guess would be my way to answer that without being very specific. But
although, I mean, they may have gone outside of the box by banning out the Sand King and letting this apparently extremely terrifying Underlord through.
Yeah. How about that? So let's talk about Underlord for a little bit again, because he is fairly newer on the scene, of course, being introduced in 7.0 to Captain's Pick right here, Captain's Mode. What makes Underlord so good? I mean, what is his secret?
So he's a very, very dominant laner. It's extremely hard to bully an Underlord out of lane, and that's for a variety of reasons. One is, I mean, he's a strength hero, so he has very high natural HP, he has pretty good armor, and he is just not really, he's relatively mobile as well. Then, I mean, that's not including his spells. If you talk about Atrophy Aura, which makes it very, very easy for him to trade hits with some dinky support like a Rubik auto attack, it's not going to be much to zone him out. And then if he manages to get someone else in his lane, Pit of Malice is terrifying because it will make any spell very easy to land. So Underlord is very powerful in the laning phase, and that helps him get a lot of important items. Like Crimson Guard's very popular on him, Guardian Greaves is very popular on him. All these items make him an amazing utility hero. So that's, I'm assuming, what makes Underlord such a prowess in the Chinese scene.
Yeah. It's just how do you deal with it? And yeah, I've seen some. I haven't got the chance to watch too many Underlord games yet because it feels like he's always banned, if anything. But I've seen some pretty solid Dark Rift plays that have been made. Using that, activating it in a fight to help get away not only himself but even some teammates at clutch moments. It can be so frustrating. You see that activated, you're like, oh god, kill him quickly, and you don't because he's Underlord. So, which
Dark Rift I do feel is a little bit underutilized for, I guess, repositioning. I see it mainly used as, like you said, kind of a cheap IO relocate that you can just evacuate your whole team out of a fight as opposed to just bringing one hero back out of the fight. But I think that one of the things that's most slept on for Underlord is after you take an objective, immediately warp your whole team to some other location and either use it as kind of a surprise on some enemy hero or start taking another objective immediately after.
With the way VGJ played that first game, if that's a taste of things to come, honestly, I would not be surprised to see that happen.
Exactly.
So they get the Luna once again. So a second pick right here this time. That shows that they're very confident. So they still need both their support options and as well as that mid. But CDEC is focusing on the mid still. They respect Freeze too much. They're going to go ahead and take out the DK as well as the Tinker on top of that. And they pick up Pudge themselves. Interesting pick right here. Always fun to have a Pudge, but you always got to kind of question yourself, what are we going to see from this Pudge? What about this Pudge pick?
It's typically picked in some sort of roaming/support position, which is generally the best way to play him. I don't think we will see a solo mid Pudge in years to come, but I'm just going to embrace his first few forays into the competitive scene and welcome him with open arms because I love seeing the hero as well. On Dire, it's not as good because I've been seeing on Radiant, you can kind of pull that offlane tier 2 near the tier 2 offlane camp. You can hook it and use that as an easy way to get cheap experiences Pudge. So even if you don't get early kills, you can still manage to get your levels. On Dire, I'm very curious to see what this Pudge is going to be up to.
maybe just a lot of roam is the plan. You know, they got to slaughter. They got to, once again, that Rubik pick up and going to try to take advantage of. Again, I'm looking at VGJ's lineup. It's obviously similar to the last game now with the Ember Spirit on top of that. And you'd figure that ideally wants to be a lineup that maybe wants to sit back and farm a little more. But as we saw last game, they were online very quickly. And they were just go, go, go. So is that going to be as effective and easy to do as you think? I mean, who the hell knows? But CDEC with the Pudge pick, perhaps that's somewhere of the mindset they're going with. But they need now their 4th pick. But yeah, VGJ getting their mid option. They still need both their support. So that's kind of interesting in their draft style here. Shadow Fiend, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, seeing as how much of an influence the VGJ supports wield, I'm not too surprised that they're holding them in their pocket until the end of the draft. And I can start to understand VGJ's bans a little bit more, like you said, after seeing their first game's playstyle. This is a lot of, not the best anti-push, but it's a lot of good laners who can also anti-push. Drow, I guess, is to just prevent the possibility of Drow strategies emerging. But Shadow Demon, Darkseer, OD, these are all very, very strong laners who can also kind of discourage 5-manning early on. And if VGJ had such success with their first draft and their first strategy, I can kind of see why they're kind of gearing towards the same thing in the second draft.
How does the classic phrase go? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There you go. So that's what they're going to be looking for. Speaking of classic phrases, you miss 100% of the hooks that you don't take, said Wayne Gretzky. So we're going to see this Pudge player go for some big hooks. And, got to take plenty of them. Kunkka coming out with a 4th pick. We don't see a lot of Kunkka lately. It seems like he kind of fell off for the most part, especially with 7.0.
He massively fell off, yeah, in 7.0 specifically. And I couldn't be happier, to be honest, because I had seen the writing on the wall. You may not have been around to see all of the sequential buffs that Kunkka was getting, patch after patch after patch after patch after patch, until he finally reached what I was terrified of from the very beginning, which is he was picked in basically any lineup. X marks the spot was the greatest spell ever created. Torrent was easy to set up with any other one hero, and Kunkka was just a menace. And everyone was whining about Kunkka because they were always playing him in the core position. And eventually, pros realized the potency of roaming support Kunkka, started picking him. He got a few nerfs. Torrent got nerfed. X got nerfed. Actually, I'm not entirely sure X got nerfed, but Torrent definitely got nerfed multiple times. He kind of fell off after that. This is actually the first time I've been seeing him in 7.0, so I'm curious what VGJ has for him.
And they throw a Witch Doctor to partner with them. You talk about getting a great roam support hero. Obviously, Witch Doctor, as we saw last game, and in general, if you know Witch Doctor, you know that that's what he kind of shines with, you could even say, with that paralyzing cask to open. And the Maledict, he even got that at least a level 2 earlier on, and wouldn't be surprised if he levels that up further. So looking to be aggressive yet again, at least with those 2 heroes. And, yeah, I got to agree, Kunkka is a fun hero, especially in good hands. So excited to see that from the side of VGJ right here. And he also has that one, speaking of talents, isn't one of his level 25 where he makes the Torrent like a ridiculous radius? Makes it, like, insanely huge. So I'm not saying we're going to get to that point, but it's one of those kind of quirky, fun level 25 talents that are
I love theory crafting 25s, but I mean, especially after what VGJ showed us, I'd be surprised if you even see him hit his level 15 talent.
That's true, yeah. Well, CDEC, they have time to think about this final pick, and they're going to use that time. And they decide on Juggernaut with the final one. Always just kind of a solid choice, I feel like. Never can go wrong with the Juggernaut.
He is, but I feel like CDEC's draft is a little bit schizophrenic. I don't really see any clear strategy because Rubik Slard are very, very strong dual lane and obviously have a lot of roam potential. But then if you put a Pudge on top of that, then you kind of have to wonder, well, who's going to be occupying one of the lanes?
Yeah.
And then you need someone to be able to protect Shadow Fiend. And while Rubik can offer a little bit, it's not nearly as much as, say, what VGJ has, which is like a Kunkka and a Witch Doctor and an Underlord. These are much more adaptive supports, whereas Rubik, if the game isn't going his way, he has a very, very hard time of kind of making it recover.
Here we go, guys. Game number 2. Again, if you're just joining us, we had a very quick, not very quick, but definitely a quicker game number 1. One that was dominated by VGJ from the get-go, basically. They did not look back. So CDEC definitely has their work cut out for them. Only a best of 3. Again, the winner of this goes to the LAN finals, that $300,000 LAN. CDEC is trying not to be the team that gets knocked out at so close to it, but it is a challenge, no doubt. We get it. Underlord is obviously going to be a fun pick to watch. Again, newer with 7.0 here being introduced, and so I haven't got to see many games in general with such a hero, and looking forward to seeing that one here. He gets the early Iron Talon, by the way, on Underlord.
Yeah, since I haven't seen him too much in 7.0, I don't really know how much he transitions into the jungle these days, but I mean, it makes sense for an Underlord, especially since he can kind of Firestorm out the lane, push it out, hit up a Sanctuary to get all of his mana back, and start farming a jungle camp while the enemy's farming underneath their tower, and then Bounty Rune's obviously going to help Underlord out because levels are very important to him. Pit of Malice gets very, very good, but early on you don't see too many levels in it. It's mainly maxing out Firestorm.
Yeah. You know, one thing I was a little bit curious about with CDEC's draft, and, you know, whenever I see an earlier slot our pick, is when we usually see him. You know, he's kind of one of those heroes I picked up earlier on, if later. But he brings that Corrosive Haze. Obviously, there's a synergy with physical damage. Now, the lineup with their third pick of the Pudge, they were still kind of lacking that somewhat, but they did finish strong with the physical presence. They go the Shadow Fiend into the Juggernaut. Even Shadow Fiend brings that aura, of course, reducing the armor around him. So they definitely got that kind of synergy working for them. With the lineup, which is always good to see. But yeah, the laning phase is going to be interesting to see how it works out for them. Specifically middle here, always fun to see mid matchups. Ember Spirit versus Shadow Fiend. Is this one, which way do you see this one going? Is this either way?
With the former right-click Ember build, it was, I guess, much easier for the Shadow Fiend. Now, Shadow Fiend will enjoy the first 2 or 3 levels, but once Freeze gets a few more points in this Flame Guard and Searing Chains, Shadow Fiend's going to have to play extremely defensively unless he gets some really good vision and support rotations going, because Shadow Fiend can't run away. Everyone wants more move speed on Shadow Fiend and more, I guess, Ice Fire keeps giving armor and stuff like that. Shadow Fiend has a tough time escaping ganks.
Yeah. Surviving is his #1 issue. I think it's very safe to say. So he's gonna, add up on those souls right here earlier on, but still, as far as early on farming, he's 4-3 against an Ember Spirit that's 2-0 actually. So we're having the better, but again, it's still really early, so we'll keep an eye on that and see how that looks down the line right here. But so far, I mean, not the most aggressive play on either side. You got Kunkka here, FY. He's rotating to the middle lane, looking to maybe help a little bit. Perhaps harass the Shadow Fiend. Don't know if they'd be able to get a kill just yet, but well, maybe if Underlord actually comes over, so it could be interesting, but no, not going to happen. ROTK, yeah, basically playing that jungle as mentioned with that Iron Talon. Not showing himself really at the top lane just yet, but headed
this
there
is
now,
a very marked difference from Game 1, seeing as how both teams have actually opted to basically sack their offlane and just have Iron Talon junglers instead. I mean, June on the Slaughter, he's getting farm in the jungle. ROTK on the Underlord, he's getting farm in the jungle. Who cares if you're letting the safe lane carries farm? It's better than risking the lane going poorly.
And FY doing a very ballsy play right there, but a good one nonetheless. He does have an Observer to help, but look at it, he's also trying to steal some of the farm in the jungle, but he also stole the Bounty Rune right in front of Pudge.
Up to the high ground.
But yeah, he's in trouble right here now. All of a sudden, FY, can he escape? He runs right on through. They do have a hook. It is going to connect. He runs the other direction. Look at these jukes from FY. He makes it look so easy, but not a lot of players would be able to get out of that.
I am very surprised that worked out the way it did. Flyby has boots on this Juggernaut, and all FY has on Kunkka is a Windlace. He just now purchased boots, so he may be able to outrun a gank again as September kind of loops around, has telekinesis, but Juggernaut can't find an opening, and his Blade Fury is still on cooldown.
Bottom lane, by the way, is that level 2 Maledicт going to be enough on Jude? Yes, it is. There's the first blood coming out. It's so simple. I mean, he literally just gets hit by a cask. Maledicт goes up a level 2. We saw that last game too, though. Level 2 Maledicт all of a sudden, and they start picking up kills. So it's just like
I think this is somewhat of a signature combo, because I looked on Dota Buff. Apparently, Luna is aggressive. I don't know why he has the name stand-in.
Oh, okay.
But Dota Buff seems to claim that it's verified aggressive, so I imagine that he has practiced running this combo with Fenrir.
Got you. Now that's actually very important to note, obviously, if that is the case. So apparently, despite being tagged standing, okay, that's
that changes everything.
Yeah, it changes everything. I mean, he was playing very well last game. It's going to give this whoever the stand-in was a lot of credit, but all right, so it is the normal, and yeah, with so much on the line, I found that a little odd. How big of a deal this is. So, but makes more sense. So yeah, maybe practicing this quite a bit, and I mean, he's getting that free farm as you mentioned too. So yet again, I'm sure the Helm of the Dominator is probably going to be first in line for him. It's feels like it is that strong item as we're getting at, as we saw last game.
Yeah, although this game, Ember doesn't seem to be getting as quite of a easy lane as he did in game 1, so he may need to sit back as the rest of VGJ starts 5-manning, because Shade is doing a pretty admirable job of keeping up in CS with Ember Spirit mid.
Underlord just continues to jungle meanwhile, so kind of interesting here from ROTK. I mean, he's level 5 now. Obviously, he's progressing very nicely when it comes to that farm. It does mean that Flyby, of course, has 100% free farm really up here, but that is the game plan of VGJ. And FY, he's going to try to hit level 3 in the meantime, soaking up experience. But they know he's up here now because of that torrent.
Demons smoked up, looping around.
And they scanned him. They know exactly where he is. He's in trouble. Hit
Oh
the hook,
wow,
he's
that's
dead.
a really early Blade Fury.
That
what
was?
Dire's bottom tower is under
Is he going to survive this? Tsunami
FY
is...
God. FY, oh, he has a branch.
Oh,
he doesn't
no.
have a tango.
Now he's in trouble. Okay, here we go. The torrent
Trouble's
comes out.
relative.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
There's no way this time. No way. All right, well, he's taking it this time. Oh, bottom lane, though. Slaughter, he's just as dead himself. Yeah.
Almost. The problem was that Lucent Beam actually came out before the Maledict hit, so all of that damage will not get added up.
Yep, that was the kill for sure.
Now Demons actually has a pretty good line for a hook. It's level 2.
He's going to need a port, though. Okay, well, he's going to go for it right here, but yeah, is this going to be enough? No, they're going to turn. I was going to say, he needs help, man. He chose to go for it without the help.
Yeah, it's sometimes you don't see a Luna pick up Eclipse at 6, and so it's possible he may have been able to get the kill. It's unlikely, but you generally don't expect the Eclipse at 6. Aggressive, however, was fully prepared for that, especially when you've got a Witch Doctor cast to synergize with it. It makes a lot of sense to take that at 6.
So, obviously, Luna progressing that much farm, that much better in the farm, obviously, with that kill. And good job with the Arcane Rune bottled up by Ember Spirit. You see Shadow Fiend heading over, but Ember Spirit taking it beforehand. But yeah, going back to the Juggernaut, too, we see, again, obviously, he's doing very well up here. He gets the Wraith Band purchase, so we're going to Kilo, it looks like, trying to get that finished himself. Speaking of Helm of the Dominator, what about Juggernaut? Could you see him getting one here, too?
Yeah, actually, I see it quite often, and it's the same kind of transitioning creep favoritism that Luna shows. They kind of like purge creeps early on, especially with the move speed buff that Helm of the Dominator gives now. It helps the purge creep keep up, and so you purge them, and then it's a very, very easy Blade Fury. And then, mid-game, you transition into something like the Frost Mage for the armor, or the Alpha Wolf for the damage.
Gotcha. Fenrir already has an early Urn of Shadows here on this Witch Doctor, so really did a good job, a nice solid support item. They're really trying to bait out Freeze right here, as he's about a third of his life, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Both middles are actually trying to bait each other out. You got Pudge and Rubik behind the Shadow Fiend. Neither's falling for it, though.
Yeah, I mean, typically you wouldn't expect an Ember to get aggressive like this, but he has an Arcane Rune, which he has just now activated, and so it's possible that sometimes you want to go for the triple Remnant, seeing as how Shade kind of has a ton of physical damage at this point. Flame Guard isn't going to be too useful, so both mids just opting to play it safe.
Now, VGJ pretty much gives away that they do have an Observer Ward down here at the bottom lane as they get a long beam onto Slaughter, but he is able to make the escape as he was just simply a little bit too far. But here we come with the smoke to kind of counter now. Coming out. The tower does fall, but ports are coming in. Torrent going to be activated onto Slaughter as soon as he ports in. There's a pushback though on FY.
Oh no.
And the chase is on Flyby. The Omni Slash catches couple, but down goes Slaughter as the Eclipse is popped. Now Flyby all of a sudden realizing that he's in trouble. He comes back in with the spin though. Popping the Magic Sticks and screw it. We got to try to get some kills right here. And Luna is in trouble most of it. Nice Urn though to keep him alive. The Torrent comes out. Combo on to Flyby there, and he goes down. Luna will get picked off. She got greedy there at the end. Wanted to make some more plays, and it cost her her life. Kunkka gets pushed back in. Krosa phases on him, and that's assisting for a double kill from September on the Rubik. How about that? Pudge will barely live meanwhile, and that's going to be the end of it.
Fenrir is still hunting, though. Oh, that hook may be the death of him. He's going to put an Urn on Demons. If he can find him. He can't find him.
Yeah, he can't find him. Now he needs to be careful, actually, because Rubik is here. Oh, he's going to run out.
No! He gets lifted.
Oh my god, the Maledict though, and there's the offensive Urn now, and Rubik. So Rubik actually in trouble. The hook though connects for the kill, but Rubik should die. Yeah, he goes down, and Deny, yep. Demons denies himself. Well, that was a funky fight here at the bottom. I don't even know really who came out on top in the end. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's tough to say. It should have actually gone much better for CDEC. The thing is that after they got the lift on the Kunkka near that tier 1 when it was still up, Juggernaut TP'd right in front of the Pudge on the shrine. So as the hook went out, he ended up catching a Juggernaut who was entering into the fight, as opposed to catching the free hook on a telekinesis target. So it they salvaged it, but it could have gone much better.
Yeah. So the 5-4 lead for VGJ, definitely not nearly the dominating performance that they had in game number 1 at least, but you know, there's still plenty to talk about this game that we haven't really been able to look at too much. I mean, look at this Underlord just at level 10 here, meanwhile. It seems like he's almost been AFK himself, just farming away, and it shows. I mean, he's level 10 using the Shrine to get back to nearly full mana. He almost has a mech, meanwhile, so it's safe to say he's doing pretty good here for this team.
Oh yeah, very well. I kind of feel that maybe if he had Dark Rifted in the fight, I'm sure his minimap was on the fight the entire time while he was AFK farming, and he was just like, should I Dark Rift in? Ah, they're fine. It's 3 for 3. I'll take that trade while I complete my mech, because the end game is for VGJ to 5-man, and the sooner Underlord gets his mech, the sooner they can start that.
Yeah. Switching over to the net worth chart right here. Luna is in the lead, as we see, and RTK going to take this creep wave. Meanwhile, it's pushed up, but speaking of ROTK on the Underlord, he is 3rd in the game currently. Shadow Fiend actually just taking the lead himself. So yeah, speaking of Shadow Fiend, what is he going first? So it looks like he's choosing to go that Yule's build to set up with the ultimate synergy, which he doesn't have just yet, but there we go. He hits level 11, and he will level it up there. But, oh, bottom lane, Slardar dodges the Torrent. He has the Corrosive Haze up, but yeah, that's not going to work. Tries to TP right in front of the Luna with the Moonbeam, hoping to escape. That's a dead June. He will fall.
This is like the most juking in these side shop trees that I've ever seen in any series. Even game 1 had a fair share of it with the Bat Rider. I mean, Slardar, I guess, is creating space for this Shadow Fiend, like you said. I'm a little surprised that Shadow Fiend is opting for the Yule's build. I haven't seen that build in ages. I assume it fell off for a variety of reasons. The number 1 reason being that Yule's range got nerfed, and so you couldn't just pick someone off mid lane. Oh, never mind, they're just pushing it, because Underlord has completed his mech.
Yep. Good luck dealing with that. Oh, the Firestorm going to be stolen, at least by Rubik. But what cost here? Steering Chains lock him in place. The Eclipse hitting Shadow Fiend. He's in trouble. There's that Yules, saving him a little bit, but only just the inevitable before dying in the end. He goes down, and now this tower once again still in plenty of trouble. So Shadow Fiend, yeah, that Yules, even there, did not save him, unfortunately.
Yeah, defensively, you very rarely... Oh man, September.
That's dead, Rubik. Starting to feel a little bit like last game now, somewhat.
A little bit. I'm seeing shades of it, and now we're seeing a Dark Rift back to the Fountain, so once they get all up to full HP, I imagine they're going to march up to the top tier 1. Oh no, they're Sanctuary to protect this Kunkka.
They're going to port in. They don't get there in time to save his life, but will they maybe get turn kills? No, they do not have the chase.
I'll take that as tribute.
And they make the escape at least. So at least that pick off there in the end for CDEC for a little bit of hope after that fight. But yeah, they lost the Shadow Fiend going into it, and you see Flyby trying to make use of the time. Farming over here, but he's in a little bit of trouble himself. No, they don't see him actually.
She may know. She does have Agent her night vision. She's gonna spot him out.
Just walks right up to Juggernaut. Okay, they're not gonna chase though. Says these are my ancients, damn it.
The presence of this wild can actually, I think, exclusively discourage the Juggernaut from going from the Omnislash, because if he loses just 1 bounce, that means that he can't get the kill. So all these, you're just seeing the power of 7.0 Helm, because even in that first fight in mid, the Purge creep was doing a fair amount of purging, in addition to blocking Pudge hooks. It's all about having extra summons now.
Boots of Travel finished on Freeze meanwhile, so again, a little bit less effective farm compared to the last game, but it seems like it's starting to pick up as you would expect. As I say this, they're going to try to make a play on him down here. Some Caster's Curse even kicking in somewhat, but no, he's going to hide. He'll be fine for now, and his teammates, meanwhile, pushing out the top lane over here, almost catching Shadow Fiend, but he's able to make his escape for now. As Witch Doctor, look at this very aggressive ward. Going to see that. Is going to be countered, though. Well played right here. It just happens to be in that exact spot, so it's taken out. Bottom lane, oh, definitely some action brewing down here, though. There we go. There's the opening. The Ghost Ship comes out, and Flyby has absolutely no clue. He dead.
That was beautifully coordinated. Boat came in first, immediately the Torrent to make sure that as soon as Juggernaut came down, the burst damage of the boat, the triple remnants, and the Firestorm were going to get the kill. They didn't even use Pit of Malice to get that kill.
No. Not even necessary, so. Free kill for them. Shade, he's low over here, but
oh man, and they're dark rifting onto this Wildkin? Yo, now that is a good strategy.
So remember when we were talking about the offensive use? I love it! Down goes Rubik, down goes Pudge. ROTK, again, we wouldn't expect anything less. I think it's safe to say.
Give him all the free lanes in the world. That was amazing. I have seen that be used with Boots of Travel many times. That's the first time I've ever seen it with Dark Rift.
Top tower has fallen.
Starting a trend, perhaps. I mean, that was beautiful to watch, and obviously for us, for CDEC, not so much. They lose 2 heroes, they lose a tier 2 tower. Already at 14.5 minutes, so the momentum continues, and they're not done just yet. They almost want to do a fake fallback here. Try to catch flyby. Is that going to hit? Yes, it is.
Same
dead.
combo.
Yeah. He's dead. I mean, they just, they're online now.
On the Luna, Yule's up, but that may give enough time for Ember to come in.
She has a cliff, but she's gonna fall before she gets it off as the ultimate activated by Shade, but at what cost now for them? Rubik goes down, the cask bounces it around, the Malice catches Pudge. He's gonna have to try to do what he can to fight to survive. Shadowfiend also doing what he can to survive. Not gonna be the, oh, he gets the kill at least, but he does die shortly after. Picked up a double kill, a little bit of sign of life somewhat, but oh, the pullback after the blink from Sardar. And he is actually going to end up falling right here as well. Basically a cleanup. Pudge did end up surviving somehow. Demons over here, but clearly a victory for VGJ, even despite losing both their carries. Still works out pretty well.
And RTK still feels confident just hanging around there. I think his mech was on cooldown after the first top push, and so it just came off cooldown now. He may just stick around and wait for this Luna's up now, and then Ember is going to be up in around 7 seconds. He's got BOTs. They're going to continue this push. Yule's SF combo is not nearly as intimidating if his ult is on cooldown, and it's going to be on cooldown for the next 50 seconds. At least Demons has kind of prime positioning on this Pudge to kind of discourage a push, but I think they're still going to go for it.
Obviously, you have the blink on Slaughter right here, so you saw him try to use it last fight to secure a kill, but he got pulled right back due to the X marks the spot, so... but they're going to try to use that for his initiation this time around, and they're in a pretty good spot, actually. Demons, if he lands a hook right here, he's going to go for it, but swing and a miss. Lands on the creep, unfortunately. I guess not technically a miss, but did not hit the target he wanted, that's for sure. So now they're going to have to deal with this push, and by deal, pretty much give it up here at this tower. You do not want to fight right now.
I fear that Demons may not be the most experienced Pudge player, seeing as how some of the... I guess some of the hooks that we've seen, a seasoned Pudge would kind of know better not to do, but still, I'm holding out hope. Pudge high ground defense is famously intimidating to push into, so he can still be a very relevant thing even as the game progresses.
Very relevant thing. I like the way you worded that right there. Fenrir, by the way, are in a Witch Doctor again. It's always such a good feeling, I'm sure, when as a support you're able to pick up even a point booster earlier on in this game. I think that's a work of an Ag's going to be coming up on Witch Doctor. Man, if he manages to get that in a reasonable time as a support Witch Doctor, that's going to be extra brutal for CDEC right here.
Yeah, especially because now ROTK's Pit of Malice is fully maxed, and so between Pit of Malice and Ember Spirit Roots, and who knows how much FY will get in his boats, which have been amazing thus far, it's very, very difficult to escape from an Ag death ward.
Yeah. Put a Defiance, so speaking of that tanky build of Underlord, he's continuing that trend. In fact, there's a pipe now just delivered, so he has that to go with the mech.
Dark Rift on the bot tier 1. Take Roshan immediately come in with the whole team.
Timing was perfect. Now he gets the Omni Slash off. We're not done just yet. The Requiem of Souls explosion, but not enough for any kill just yet. And Juggernaut will be picked up. Thunder goes down. Look at the Eclipse damage. A 3 for nothing. It's going to be at least 4. Shay trying to get out of here. No, he's not going to be able to. It's going to be a cleanup for VGJ. The beautiful Dark Rifts for a second time. Wow. Luna nearly died. Okay, she will die in the end, but... she had an Aegis, so we're coming back up. That was, this is just good Dota.
I am at a loss. I mean, if VGJ were maybe like honestly, if ROTK didn't have that pipe, that would have been a team wipe for CDEC. That would be the complete opposite end result of what we just saw. But this net worth advantage is being put to extremely good use, and ROTK completes that pipe at the perfect time. A beautifully timed Dark Rift as soon as the Roche goes down, catches out the Juggernaut, and they thought they had all the cards. CDEC had a BKB on Shadow Fiend. They were ready with an extremely good crush with June Slardar, hitting all 5 heroes except for, I guess maybe 4 heroes. I think the Kunkka was outside of the crush, and even with such great synchronization, they still couldn't kill a single hero on VGJ.
That's a great point about the Underlord. Yeah, as we were just talking about the items going into that fight, I was wondering, I saw the Requiem of Souls going off, and I thought that for sure was going to work for CDEC, actually. Right? It seemed like the placement was great, but the pipe, the mech, did not work, and that's pretty much exactly why, no doubt, from Underlord right there. So again, that tanky build clearly working. He has Guardian Greaves right now on top of that to follow, and they're going to take out the last Shrine right here as well. We're going to see all Tier 2s as well as the Shrine killed by basically 20 minutes into this game.
Yep, and especially when you combine all that tankiness of Underlord with the boat from Kunkka, it just makes these tanky heroes like twice as difficult to kill. So even if they do manage to penetrate through the magic barrier of the pipe, and they do kind of, even if they do kill the Underlord, there's still a lot of damage mitigation to deal with.
I almost want to play the game of, all right, you're the coach once again. What do you do? But it's just, what do you do? I mean, it's...
What do I do?
I don't know.
This time, they have carries, so it makes me feel, man, wow, VGJ refuses to lose a single tower. They're so far ahead, and they keep sending everyone to defend these towers.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing I would say as a coach is like, okay, we'll get some easy gold on a tower. And wow, VGJ is not even going to deny it. They're not even going to give them that. They're just going to say, no, you're not taking this tower whatsoever. Although Flyby, he's hungry, hiding on the side, has Omni-Slash ready.
Okay, will this work out? The Torrent, okay, that was curious. He maybe expecting to jump right there.
They see him.
They actually see him. Oh no, they have it stopped? No, they don't. The spin, but they caught somebody up here. That somebody would be June playing the Slaughter. That Maledict will secure the kill for certain. And he does not have a buyback for 40 seconds, so is this going to be a siege right here? Coming out from VGJ. They do have the Manta style finished on Luna, just getting delivered.
Finally going to relinquish control. Shadow Fiend takes the mid tier 1, he's immediately TPing into this fight.
Here we go. Still, what was that? As a Firestar, not the craziest. And he's going to die right after anyway, so it doesn't matter that he stole that ability. Again, no buybacks on either hero that's dead currently. In the background, Shadow Fiend, the swing and a miss on the hook, and the double root right there. Flyby has to use a very defensive spin. In comes a Requiem of Souls from Shady. He does get it off, but guess what? The pipe, the mech, the Guardian Greaves even, keeping them alive easily. The BKB will keep Shadow Fiend alive. The hook does connect actually on a Witch Doctor. Finally something, no, the immediate cancel on the Dismember from Pudge. June jumps in with the stun, but they're just not dying, man. It's like they're doing no damage right here. In the background, Shadow Fiend trying to make that a difference. Kill Ember Spirit, but Shade will fall to the Witch Doctor himself. Over here, finally going to kill Underlord as they stop his streak and get a little bit of bounty gold. But man, it took forever, and at least they do save the base. It did take a buyback on a Pudge, though. We're not done, though, just yet, apparently. Okay, Fenrir, yeah, he's going to be picked off now. Unless they combo? Oh, he dodges the hook. Doesn't have Maledict up, though. But Freeze is here, so never mind. Maybe they are going to turn this around even further on the side of VGJ. As, yet they catch Slardar with the Torrent, and there's the connection to secure the kill. It's just nonstop, man. It's full throttle, go, go, go. It's got to be so frustrating to play against this team of VGJ.
Yeah, Luna had actually left that siege on the tier 3 like basically 10 seconds into the fight, and it was up to whoever was getting hooked, which was mainly either the Underlord or the Witch Doctor, between them two and the Kunkka to just push the rest of CDEC back, and it worked for a very, very long time, and CDEC does not manage to get very many kills. Now, here's another Dark Rift, bringing back just the Underlord. Okay, fine, but I mean, the push will still continue.
That medallion now purchased, so going to be looking to upgrade that to the Solar Crest, I'm sure, in the future, but as that now pipe thrown out, and here we go, yet another siege. The Searing Chains actually catches Rubik, the follow-up root, and that's a quickly dead Rubik. He does have buyback and use it immediately. But now you have Luna pushing in with the tower dead. That means the Glaive's going to be bouncing around, doing their thing. Goodbye, base. At least this portion of it. The racks will fall. Here we go. The jump in onto Luna. The Requiem missile's right on top. Only at half-life, though. He's just going to simply walk away, and he'll be fine. Meanwhile, Slaughter gets caught. The boat comes out. They're going to take out Slaughter. Juggernaut going to fall as well. They caught the root on the Shadow Phoenix, so he just simply auto-attack, and I think that's GG. Yeah, that's it. 2-0 for VGJ. They're going to the land, baby. And I think it's safe to say, well-deserved.
That may just be the best 2 7.0 games I've ever seen. I wouldn't say in terms of nail-biting experience, but some of, by far, the cleanest play I've ever seen. Game 1, the amazing relationship between these supports, the Sand King, the Dazzle, the Witch Doctor, they were all doing so much work. This game, it was a really, really smart draft that came out from VGJ. The amount of damage mitigation that they had to just make sure that even if CDEC did get a good opening, they still would not get any kills whatsoever.
Yeah. I just don't know what else to say. I mean, again, now I didn't say it before this on the stream here, so I don't know how many people would believe me, but something about this VGJ team, I really was expecting them to make it, honestly. And honestly, their momentum, I was kind of looking at it, kind of recapping throughout this event. They dropped 2 games in the group stages.